Alright, welcome everybody. Hello. Get down to it. Oh, I didn't open the game. What am I doing? We have Umineko to play, tea to drink, theories to craft. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all well. Good seeing you all in the chat. Okay, so wow, where did we even leave off? Am I going to go off on a tangent before we start again? Maybe. Excuse me. So we left off right at the end of Rosa's recollection. And actually, this is going to be the first night. The first night of the third episode where the 6 tributes are to be offered. Any thoughts on what tributes are going to be offered? I think Rosa kind of has to be alive in this episode. I think it's going to pivot around her a lot. I think Ava probably has to stay alive. Let's see who ends up making it. Excited to just jump right into it as well. I don't want to beat around the bush. I want to get as much in as I can because I definitely am a little sleepy from work today. Well then, how will this game be resolved? You may submit or you may resist. I think that the 6 chosen by the key will die. Naruhodo. Good answer. Good answer, good answer. You may submit or you may resist. Either way, it will truly be an entertaining banquet worth betting my short remaining life on. In his dimly lit study, occasionally brightened by lightning, Kinzo kept mumbling and laughing to himself. On the antique clock with the intricate design that had been sitting on his desk, the 2 overlapping hands tilted to the right and began to slide. The measure of time that counted up to 24 had returned to 0. And had begun to count back again. Measuring time is a brutal thing. It drags itself all the way to 24 over the course of a day, and then returns back to 0. It certainly did count to 23:59. However, is it ever able to reach 2400? If you conclude that it returns to 000 again, without reaching 24, how futile it must all be. That's a little poetic, Kinzo. But perhaps a person's life is the same. You live aiming for a perfect 24, and in the instant you reach it, you return to 0. People will probably praise the departed, saying that he did reach 24, but he most certainly did not. At the end, he's a 0. I'm different. I will live and reach 24. That itself is the Golden Land, for that is where Beatrice dwells. Kinzo had been fumbling around with some tarot cards for some time. It looked as though he was trying to divine his own luck with a contest, doing it over every time he didn't like the result. The most forbidden action in tarot reading is trying to predict the same thing twice. To do so ridicules the result of fortune-telling, and also desecrates those beings higher than humans that give revelations through the tarot cards. However, Kinzo knew tarot cards shouldn't be used twice because, since they're nothing more than a random number generator, reading them twice will naturally cause a different result to appear. Therefore, reading them twice was only forbidden to preserve the mystique of the tarot cards' results. However, that did not mean that Kinzo didn't take tarot reading seriously. I think that exactly means that. Kinzo's interpretation of tarot reading was done in a completely different way. That was to repeat the reading over and over, without giving up in the slightest, until he reached the result most favorable to him. The mark he set for this most favorable result would vary, but when he demanded the most favorable result in a strictly literal sense, it was the same as a simple roulette of luck, where he seeked an arithmetic miracle. However, Kinzo used miracles of numbers as the basis of his magical power, so this functioned perfectly well as a magical ritual. In other words, until the result he desired appeared perfectly, he would strive to repeat the tarot readings over and over, with conviction, turning the feelings of his heart into prayers, so that when they reached the heavens, they would be sublimated into results. This was Kinzo's personal magical interpretation. Therefore, even though Kinzo's tarot cards were no different from those generally used, the way in which they were used was completely different. I wonder if this relates to the Beatrice farm? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same logic, right? Like, in other words, until the result he desired appeared perfectly, so just try again, right? Try to make new Beatrices. Whoa, I've never seen YouTube recommend me a stream before. Hey, Mango. Good to see you over there. Night will not go as I thought. Oh, Dej. He's dead. Kinzo stopped his hands for a second. He seemed not to be getting the results he wanted. On the contrary, bad cards that shouldn't show up so often appeared repeatedly. me at the major? Me at the card game major? Hi, JB. How's it going? And continued to interfere with the miracle Kinzo wished for. Is that how it is? Kinzo seemed to have received some revelation that was different from normal. But judging by the unlucky cards scattered across his desk, it was difficult to imagine that the omen had been a good one. Doing good? Good to hear. For a while, Kinzo closed his eyes tightly, pondering something. Pondering his orb? Then, as the thunder roared, he made up his mind about something, took the telephone receiver, and dialed. It is I. Is Genji there? An urgent matter has come up. Oh, is he leaving the room? He's dead. He's super dead if he leaves the room. Boom, 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 boom. Shannon. In front of the entrance hall, Shannon's once burning face had been cooled off by the frigid air. She had thought that George's proposal would surely come sooner or later. It wasn't as though she hadn't prepared herself mentally, and she had answered by nodding. Had she been reckless because of her youth? Should she have thought about her future more seriously? I wonder if my immediate reply made him think I'm a cheap girl. If I'd at least waited until tomorrow morning, would that at least have shown him I was taking this seriously? Now that she'd already received the ring from George, Shannon kept fidgeting in embarrassment. I should have done this, I should have done that. As she did, she heard the sound of footsteps splashing through puddles. Shannon immediately chased away the emotions welling up inside her. Genji? And Cannon too? I'm sorry. I have to go back soon. She grew stiff, thinking she'd surely be scolded for spending too much time in her secret lovers meeting with George. Cannon? The master told us to come to the study, saying it was urgent. Let us hurry. Huh? Certainly. What in the world's going on? He said he had a premonition of misfortune. How convenient for him, considering he's the one who started this ceremony. Ooh. Cannon knows a little more than he's letting on, maybe. We will enter from the back, so that Goda doesn't notice us. Goda doesn't notice. Hide your footsteps. Yes. Nesan, take care. You're so noisy. Cannon was especially good at hiding his footsteps. Just like a cat. Or like Seth from Under Night in Birth. He was able to suddenly be there without anyone noticing and leave in the same way. For example, even though he stepped in puddles, the sound he made was far smaller than that of the rain hitting them. Genji also had abilities of that kind. Or rather, those servants called furniture were supposed to be like that. Just like how desks and closets go unnoticed by members of the family, these servants also hid it as a great virtue to just suddenly be there whenever they were needed. Compared to that, Shannon's footsteps still strongly asserted themselves. She was trying to hide her footsteps. But compared to Cannon and Genji, well, you could say she was a little more boisterous. Eventually, they reached the back door, and then the three of them entered the mansion. Interesting. Shannon's older than Cannon, but he's better trained in this? Immediately, they thought they felt something. It was different from a sense of smell, and it seemed to hit the depths of their noses. This hard-to-describe sensation, which you might call a sixth sense, allowed them to perceive that something was different than usual. Genji. Indeed. Let us hurry. That sensation made it feel as though a tense something was pressing in around them. Realizing that, the three of them dashed up the stairs, heading for Kinzo's study while still hiding their footsteps. Oh, it's like the storm in Fortnite closing in on them. When they dashed up the stairs, that smell of sweet poison, particular to Kinzo's study, reached their noses. What is it, Genji? Oh, the barrier is dead. Huh? Oh. After hearing Cannon's words, she looked at the door to the study. A scorpion pattern was engraved on the doorknob, a powerful ward against magic. The final barrier, which protected Kinzo himself. It had been broken. Of course, there was no change in the doorknob that the eye could see. However, those who could understand things people couldn't perceive were able to recognize that a dramatic change had occurred. Master, it's Genji. Please, open the door. Genji called this way after knocking several times, but there was no answer from the study. Canon, guard our backs. Canon, search inside the room. Yes. Ooh, something's about to go down. Canon put his ear against the door, searching for a presence inside the study. To protect the backs of the pair watching the door, Shannon faced the other way, ready for the unexpected. The master must be in here, but it's too quiet. You mean to say he's safe? No. It's too quiet. Could it possibly be? Master, excuse us about the door. Genji pulled a gold key out of his pocket. It was the only key to the study that existed, other than the one that Kinzo himself held. He stuck the key in the hole and turned it heavily. At first glance, that seemed to prove that this was a sturdy lock. However, now that the barrier had been destroyed, this door might as well have been left open, from the viewpoint of anyone with a magical power. The heavy sound just now meant that the door had now been opened, even for humans. Huh? Hold on. However, now that the barrier had been destroyed, this door might as well have been left open, from the viewpoint of anyone with magic. Ah, because witches don't need to use doors, naturally. Excuse me. As Genji respectfully bowed his head, and Canon's sense of tension grew tighter, and Shannon trembled, they entered the study. Oh, they immediately discovered Kinzo's figure. He was sitting on that reception sofa so that his back faced them. Oh, he's dead. Genji noticed the person sitting across from him, and again bowed deeply. Canon also noticed that person. He did not bow his head. He stood in front of Shannon and spread out his arms, blocking the way to her. Without even seeing that person's face, Shannon already had a good idea who it was. So you have come, Beatrice-sama. Ah, Genji. You came very quickly. Yes, it's always best when furniture answers to their master's call quickly. Unlike this person. So, Renove has come as well? Genji directed his greeting towards the thin darkness behind and to the right of Beatrice, where there shouldn't have been anything. Even Canon and Shannon would never have imagined that someone was there. However, the darkness responded immediately and praised Genji's eyesight. Renove arrive? As usual, you don't disappoint. It's been quite some time. Still, you've grown old, haven't you? Have so many years truly passed you by? My days have been full and satisfying. It appears you have been living quite a full life yourself, Renove. Yes, thank you. And Shannon, it has been a long time since I last saw you as well. You have grown quite beautiful. And it seems you have grown quite strong. That's fortunate. Thank you. Nesan, who in the world? This will be our first meeting, Canon. I, Renove, have been entrusted with the position of Beatrice's head furniture. I am an old friend of Genji's, and I am also furniture, just like you. Although the master I serve is different. The tense color didn't disappear from Canon's face in the slightest. Depending on the master furniture served, they might be kind or brutal or anything in between. If that person claimed to be furniture serving the hated Beatrice, then he must be despicable as well. Interesting. It seems I'm thoroughly despised. It's as though you hate everything that has anything to do with me. Beatrice openly sneered at Canon's hate-filled face. Then Canon finally realized. Beatrice and Kinzo were having a chess game across the reception table. But Kinzo hadn't even quivered. He was holding his head with both hands, his eyes closed tight, as he contemplated his next move. Or was he in anguish? Master, I have told Kinzo two things. There's good news and bad news. The good news is that he'll have the good fortune of being reunited with me before the ceremony ends. The bad news is that Kinzo has been selected as the very first sacrifice in this ceremony. Yeah, I knew his ass was dead. And there's absolutely nothing I can do about it, because it truly was decided by the fickle roulette. Liar. We know you're just a murderer who kills for fun. Stop it, Canon. So, Kinzo, isn't it about time you decided to accept your loss? Wow, I knew that. Yeah, good call, Thorn. Good call. It's almost like you played this before. I'm now leaning a little harder into the Hunger Games theory, where this is like all being done for some rich people's enjoyment. With this, our long contest is at an end, yes? At a glance, it was hard to make out the situation on that chaotic chessboard. However, a Burge arrive? What's up, Evan? It's killing me. However, judging by Kinzo's anguish and Beatrice's malicious confidence, it seemed to be over already. It is unavoidable. Perhaps even this could be amusing. It is to me too. Resolving my contest with you may bring a flood of emotions, but it has already surpassed love and hate. It was fun. These past few decades certainly weren't boring. Decades. Past few decades. Beatrice advanced her queen and made her final move, and that decided it. Checkmate. This is my final tribute to you, without any reservations. Sleep. Oh, he's off the goop right now. When are we getting Bolt the Burge? Bolt the Burge arrive? Wait, that's so good. Kinzo suddenly stood up and laughed, like an opera singer facing a full crowd and spreading his arms, as though he had succeeded in a centuries-long plan. That laugh spat crimson. Crimson flames poured out from inside him, spitting even out of his mouth, ears, and nose, all at once, his body wrapped in hellfire. But Kinzo kept laughing. The more he laughed, the more the hellfire spewed from his entire body and began to char him. These flames became a brilliant light, which dazzlingly shone on the various magical tools throughout the room, making their distorted shadows dance across the walls. These shadows looked like the dead in hell, watching over Kinzo in ecstasy as he burned. And for the one who made a contract with the witch, it was an extremely fitting end, in accordance with those terms. After laughing and howling in the roaring flames for some time, Kinzo flopped to the ground as though he was a puppet whose strings had been cut. The incredible blazing flames disappeared as though he'd been completely burned up, and afterwards nothing remained but a festering and burnt corpse that one could hardly bear to look at. That's how he died in episode 1 as well. He got burned to death. And then stabbed in the forehead, but... Or, you know, maybe the opposite order, but he was charred in the first episode. Horrible. You should talk. As if you didn't think that was a fitting way for him to die. Why have you shown yourself? Do you have some business with us? Stop it, Canon. You mustn't provoke Beatrice-sama. It would seem you have them absolutely terrified. I imagine I'll never get along with Canon. Hey, it's not as though I dislike you particularly. Beatrice grinned. Canon violently averted his gaze, obviously unhappy. His reaction was so different from what he wanted to do that he made the witch and her butler laugh. Canon, you stand in the presence of Beatrice-sama. Carefully consider your manner of speech. Oh, I don't care, Genji. Let him say what he wants. I am gracious. How are you gracious? I'm always gracious to those who are about to die. Oh my god. Canon was taken aback by that creepy laughter. Beatrice wasn't here just to take Kinzo's life. The first Twilight required 6 sacrifices. Kinzo alone wasn't nearly enough. And they just casually walked in here. Fear not, Canon. It isn't as though you'll be selected as sacrifices just because you came here. After all, you were called here because you were selected already. Amazing. What? Their instincts were good enough to spot her meaning instantly. 6 sacrifices were required for the first Twilight. After Kinzo, how many more would you need to add up to 6? In this mansion, the number 5 instantly made them think of the number of servants here. Oh wow, is it just Kinzo and the servants? Is that what you desire? Indeed. Thank me, furniture. Tonight, your days of suffering will finally end. You ought to thank me for coming here to tell you this. Certainly, if that is your desire. Genji? Genji had agreed that the witch's heartless announcement with his usual demeanor, without raising an eyebrow. Now that the master is dead, Beatrice is our master. Responding to her demands shall be our final duty. Shannon? Canon? You have done well serving until today. That hard work is now over. As I expected of you, Genji. As your fellow furniture, I'm proud to have known you. Furniture handshake. Canon, do you have any objections? No. I heard that George gave you a ring. Do you still say that you have no regrets? Yes. That blessing was more than furniture deserves. Just receiving the ring has already satisfied my feelings. Shannon couldn't take quite as much of a philosophical view as Genji. There were probably regrets left in her heart. She probably wanted to spend a little more warm time with the person she cared for, George. But she released herself from that. Took a single deep breath, and a blank expression rose to her face. Very well. It does surprise me a tad to find that you've gained so much composure, Shannon. It seems you too have taken a philosophical view as furniture. Won't you at least shed some bitter tears for not being able to spend a night with the man you love? What a boring woman. The feeling cannot be understood by the likes of you, Beatrice. If you desire our lives, please accept them. We will solemnly carry out that duty. Very well. Excellently put. Just the type of person Beatrice can't handle. A boring person. She's been taking such a far-sighted view of things lately. I must have tormented her too much last time. Speaking of which, didn't I do the same to Battler? Am I still soft? Or is the way I corner them lacking? In any case, she's just no fun. However, it seems you will still entertain me, right? Canon? Canon? Compared to the two who had taken a far-sighted approach, there was a painful anguish on Canon's face. Canon was still far too young to accept his demise after being told of it by a suddenly appearing witch. Canon, I hate boredom more than anything, and the fact that the other two have obediently accepted their deaths isn't amusing at all. So I hope you don't betray my expectations. Are you trying to make me your plaything? Canon realized that he was being provoked. However, no matter how furiously anger spurred him on, his opponent was a witch. He was furniture. He hadn't had a chance of victory from the beginning. But the witch was expecting that he'd struggle in vain and writhe around. And she was even looking forward to it. Just thinking about that was frustrating enough to get his blood boiling. Was disappointing the witch by refusing to resist, like the other two, the only way he could strike back at her? I would say so. I think he has to just, die, unfortunately. Eldest of the seven sisters of purgatory, Lucifer. Arise. Arise. Chicken. Lucifer of pride, right here. Canon. It would be far too cruel to force furniture to fight a witch. No matter how much anger spurs you on, you would have no hope in battle without a chance of success. Of course, such a battle would be boring for me as well. So, let it be. Furniture against furniture. Why not resolve it with a battle between you two? That should be enough to allow some hope for victory, right? Forgive me, Beatrice, but how could I be inferior to this good-for-nothing furniture? As if this cutie would have any chance against me. Prove that you can defeat my furniture, the 7 stakes of purgatory. If you manage to win through, let us see. I will let you select the 5 who will escape becoming one of the 13 sacrifices. I will welcome the 5 you recommend into the Golden Land without any conditions. How about that? Canon understood that he was being provoked. However, the witch's offer was very tempting. By this point, Canon couldn't care less about this evil ceremony the witch and the rest were trying to carry out. On the contrary, it was much more important that he remain alive so that he could be invited to the Golden Land and have his wish granted by Beatrice there. You cried, saying you've had enough of being furniture, right? Shall I grant your desire? I shall give you the human body you wanted so much. I shall give you the human body you wanted so much, you cried yourself to sleep. What do you say? So I think this is the argument where she can say in red that there are no more than 18 humans on the island. I think she is talking about the furniture. That way you and Jessica could be together, yes? Oh, just perfect. You may recommend that Jessica and yourself be invited to the Golden Land. If you alone finding happiness isn't a satisfying solution to you. Then you can add in Shannon and George, the one she loves. And if you're worried about duty, you can also add Genji. Oh, that's 5 people. Isn't that enough, Canon? With this much of a reward? You won't let me get bored then, will you? She's just toying with you. There's no need to listen to her. I don't like it. Are you okay with this, Nesan? Beatrice couldn't hide her evil smile at those words. I don't like it. I want to be happy. I've had enough of being furniture. I want to become human and have normal love. I want to know that the ocean is blue like you do. How young. I'm jealous. That's why I like the young ones. Genji, Shannon, stay back. Canon, Lucifer, forward. Very well. Let's get it. Lightsabers on. I don't like it. The way you look down on me. As if Beatrice would be impossible. But with me, at least you'd have a chance. I don't like that. That was probably humiliating for Lucifer. But at the same time, she was also happy that she was lucky enough to have this adorable prey all to herself. Come, furniture of the witch. Don't think that you can look down on me forever. Lightsabers? Oh man, this is a high-stakes action scene right here. Flickering flashlight to establish dominance. Oh, Dej? He taunts back? Okay, they're swinging. So, Battler. Isn't this a fun show? Another weird thing is happening, damn it. Like I'd ever believe in a magical battle. What's actually happening here if it's not magic? Look, don't turn your eyes away. Look at it. Look. It's magic. It's magic. It's furniture. No matter how much you try to deny me and my magic. Look, just look. If you've got all this happening right in front of you, it'd be a waste to miss it, don't you think? Look. Just stop thinking. Magic exists. This is fantasy. Just imagine Beatrice doing the soy jack face and pose in this scene. Oh, Clash frames? Is this the Type Lumina installation? Last one was the Undernight installation. It had Seth. It had shielding. This one's got the Clash frames. Don't close your eyes. Look closely. Look. Damn it. Damn it. I won't accept witches. I won't accept magic. But if it's being done right in the open like that, what am I supposed to say? Damn it. Come now. Don't turn away. Look closely, okay? Magic exists. This is fantasy. So, stop playing detective. I know your secret. You actually don't really like to think things through, right? So true. Then just stop. Stop! Look. It's gotta be fantasy, right? It's gotta be. Just shut up. Don't talk to me. Meet me at work. This guy's getting stubborn. Won't you apologize and crawl on the ground right now for being so conceited that you thought you could beat me? If you did, I wouldn't mind forgiving you, okay? Then you wouldn't have to have your skin ripped off while you're still alive. Or get lashed all over your body as you squirm until you die. You're a cutie. So apologize. If you do, I'll finish you off so gently, while it still feels great. Be silent. Furniture of the witch. I have no intention of speaking to you. Wait. So you're saying you think nothing of me? That disrespectful gaze of yours is really pissing me off. Kennen. Isn't he stronger than he was against Satan? This is why humans are so frightening. Humans? Pausers? In fact, sometimes they even become witches and treat demons as butlers. Godlike Renove burn. So which should I cheer on then? Are you saying this guy's on par with me? Don't look down on me. As long as you have that pride, you'll never defeat me. Virtuous Canon versus Proud Lucifer? You speak of Lucifer, the eldest of the seven sisters of purgatory, and say that I cannot win? Hello, Schizophrenia. Leave this game, brother. Go read Subahibi. Never heard of it. Come out, brother, please. Is this a real... Are you actually there, Schizophrenia? Or is this in my head? Me when the Schizophrenia is in the chat? Whoa, flashy. Who is Rysair talking to? Yeah. Bro, this game is leftist propaganda. Canon was desperately trying to stay alive, and he had a strong desire to become human. But Lucifer didn't feel anything stronger than a slight desire to play. So that led to an inevitable result. Oh, she was sandbagging. It was a result that could be reached by the power of humans. The power of the heart. That's as far as you go. You cannot win against me. The glowing red curve extended straight out from Canon's arm, pointing at Lucifer's throat just beneath the tip of her chin. What is this? Fighting game advice right there, don't sandbag. So true. How could I? There must be some mistake. As she ground her teeth in irritation, she tried to deny the truth right before her eyes. But no matter how much she believed in her own superiority, it didn't change the facts right in front of her. Oh. Well done, Canon. Wonderful. You haven't bored me. How pitiful my furniture is compared to that. Lucifer, you are boring, milady. Was this opponent really too much for you to handle? I'm disappointed, eldest of the seven stakes. It would have seemed like a mere rebuke to an outsider. However, furniture serving the witch knew that kind of severe treatment was what kind of severe treatment was promised by that rebuke, and understood what had been left unsaid. Yeah, Lucifer, you're fired. She howled. Abandoning her last bit of pride, she made her body explode, exposing her true form. The form was a demonic stake, which bounced off the walls surrounding the room. How could you shame me so much? You blockhead. Even though you can't even follow my movements anymore, I won't play around anymore. I'm seriously mad. I'll pierce your heart in one blow. Oh, this is the level 3. I'll plow right through you, make a fountain of bright red blood reach the ceiling. Die. Die. Canon. Oh yeah, isn't she supposed to be one of the weaker ones? I don't actually know. She's the oldest, but I don't know where she is on power level. Canon. Oh, yep, there it is, the woodpecker. Everyone loves that sound. Oh, Dedge. After flying about wildly for some time with the speed approaching the limits of what a human eye can follow, Lucifer flew at Canon's heart. She could tell that it was Canon's blood by the sweet taste of it, but she quickly noticed one thing. She hadn't pierced his heart. Oh. This is why humans are frightening. Would you like some black tea? Huh? What the hell? It's... Italian grandmother vibes. Oh my gosh, look at the violence. You hungry? I am fine for now. This is so amusing, I don't even need any. He's butler maxing, so true. Canon. Drip drip. Also in drippy tier this episode. You were arrogant again. I told you that you wouldn't be able to defeat me. The floor was stained with dripping blood. It was Canon's blood, but it wasn't flowing out of his chest. What, did he take it in the shoulder or something? Kennen had sacrificed his own left hand to protect his heart. Ah. Lucifer was arrogant. Even though she'd been given enough time to realize that this was an opponent capable of cornering her, in her pride, she had believed him to be worthless. She had gotten careless. So, just as she announced, she aimed for his chest, trying to pierce his heart. Because she was arrogant, she hadn't even thought of aiming for somewhere other than the place she had announced. No, maybe she had thought about it a little. However, her pride would not allow her to aim for a different spot. After all, she was Lucifer of Pride. Kennen, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon stake sticking deep into his left hand strongly with his right hand, and pulled it out. Ow. When she heard the sound of breaking bones and even more blood dripping down, Shannon looked away reflexively. There was an air hole in the back of the pierced hand so big, you could clearly see through to the other side. Kennen's face was filled with pain, but right now, he had won, without a doubt. The demon stake he was gripping with his right hand turned back into Lucifer again. So now Kennen was gripping exactly where her neck was. That's a cool visual. It's my victory. Beatrice. Kennen didn't hold back at all with the hand gripping Lucifer's throat. She had challenged him again after the fight had already been decided. Kennen had no obligation to be considerate. But even so, Kennen released the witch's furniture. Was it his naive humanism, his pity for another furniture, or a final bit of respect to the witch? In any case, when she was released, Lucifer fell face down to the ground, retching and moaning over the pain in her throat. Spectacular, Kennen. Your great efforts have proven the correctness of some of Kinzo's research. Renaud was clapping his hands. The Kennen, who had won at a great cost and had a wound in his left hand that wouldn't close, Renaud's applause only felt like mockery. All possibilities dwell within the human heart, was it? My. This is why humans are so frightening. Well done, Kennen. You were victorious. Spectacular. Huh. Are you okay? Kennen. Shannon ran up to him and wrapped a handkerchief around his left hand, which was still spraying blood. That was incredible, Kennen. Truly incredible. Even I was hoping, at least a little, for an upset. That you didn't let me down makes you truly splendid furniture. I think better of you now. I honestly think better of you. You haven't forgotten our promise, right, Beatrice? Indeed. Of course I haven't forgotten. Witches and demons may be inhumane. However, we are much more noble than humans when it comes to keeping promises. I will not go back on my word. I will guarantee that if you won, I would give you the right to decide the 5 people who will escape becoming the 13 sacrifices. Beatrice, it's not like I've... Whoa, Beatrice. Whoa. When Beatrice waved her pipe, heaven and earth turned over just for Lucifer. It was horribly natural result. She fell onto the ceiling. Huh? The ceiling doesn't seem that high to people standing on the floor. However, people who fall on it upside down and head first usually don't agree. Milady, isn't that a little much? Perhaps you are right. I suppose I'll forgive her. Beatrice waved her pipe again. When she did, the magic that had been affecting Lucifer was released. This should be affecting. Actually, this should be affecting. So, as a horribly natural result, this time she fell properly back onto the floor. Izzy. Beatrice, forgive me. What are you so afraid of? I have already forgiven you, haven't I? So, Kennen, shall we continue? Continue what? Yeah, she said you have to beat all 7, Kennen. You aren't saying you want me to finish her, are you? No. It isn't over yet, right? What? Stop dodging the question. I did promise to you your reward, didn't I? If you could defeat my furniture, the 7 stakes of purgatory, right? Yeah, she said that at the beginning. Come, arise! The 7 stakes of purgatory. The 6 younger sisters of the worthless elder. The air split with shrill laughter, and as a golden splash scattered about, the remaining 6 sisters of purgatory showed themselves. The next 6 League of Legends champions. Wording people, always keep a note of what a person says, otherwise you're screwed. So true, especially a witch. All the 7 sisters were here after Canon was able to defeat one by sacrificing his left arm. By now, Canon regretted his thoughtlessness in accepting the witch's challenge. He had been foolish to assume that a game against the witch would be on even footing. Lame. One-sama, why are you crawling on the floor? You people. I told you, One-sama's useless. Even though she acts like she's so great just because she's the oldest. That's only on the outside. Yeah, seriously. Lucifer, your disgraceful behavior will damage the reputation of us all. Know your shame, you novice. Oh, she's pissed. Can we get her on our side? Canon, that was totally awesome. But don't get cocky, okay? Lucifer brags all the time, but she's no big deal compared to the rest of us. That's why I'm always saying Lucifer shouldn't do anything. Just let her keep bragging all the time. After all, those of us with talent can handle all the tough jobs. Alright, who of the 7 Sisters of Purgatory do we decide is the best? They'll self-destruct from there. What, like get them fighting among themselves? What are you gonna do, One-sama? Out of respect for your pride, were you planning to stay out of your way in hopes that you challenge them again in that beat-up body of yours? But Canon sure is strong, right? No matter how much you struggle, there's no way you could win, right? You people. My, you sisters are always so lively. The next 6 happy chaos mains. Is there any time to fight among yourselves? It's only together that you're the 7 stakes of purgatory, correct? Now, play nice and execute the tasks I give you. And swiftly, okay? Hey, Lucifer, if you want to borrow the power of your little sisters, then say it, okay? We want to hear you ask us for help with your own mouth. You plan to mock me even more? I, the foolish, weak, ugly, and shameful Lucifer, the eldest sister, begged my younger sisters to save me. Come on, let's hear it. If you let us hear that, we'll save you. Okay? Everyone? You bitch. The 7 Sisters of Purgatory unanimously closed in on their worthless sister, abusing her. Even Canon, who had been fighting for his life until a second ago, couldn't bear to look at it. As if I could ever say something like that. Quickly now. Clearly, we won't make any progress here with you alone. Hurry up, let the 7 Sisters strike Canon. My. What's the matter, Lucifer? This is an order from Milady, is it not? How cruel. After grinding her teeth over and over after hearing her sister's curses, Lucifer trembled all over and answered her sister's request. I, the foolish, weak, ugly, and shameful Lucifer, the eldest sister, beg. Kryga. The girl known as Pride was finally unable to endure the words she was saying and broke down crying. However, the 6 younger sisters kept giggling cold-heartedly. Jeez Louise. Wait a sec. Don't try to trick us by crying. You haven't finished saying it. That should be enough. Come, sisters, let us display our power. I won't be satisfied till I hear the whole thing. Are they gonna turn into like a Gundam or like Voltron? Megazord? Come on, One-sama, keep going. This chanting always freaks me out because there's like nobody in my room, but I'm like, I hear someone. Finally, a family as dysfunctional as the Ushiromiya's. So true. I've also been thinking about this. They all have like the one-winged eagle crest, right? But I don't know that it's actually like it's one of two things, right? It's either this is like the other half of the same eagle. Actually, now that I say that, are all of theirs? Nah, they're the same direction, right? Yeah, yeah, they all go in the same direction. That's enough. Come on. This shame affects us all. Again, should be affects. We won't let them leave here alive. Okay. How should we play with this pitiful furniture? Any wonderful plans? Belze thinks the 7 of us should go get along and split Cannon up between us. Why does the art look like this? This is what the art looks like. This is the original sprites. Good idea. The way all of our sisters can get along. Then I'll take the head. I'll leave the limbs and guts to y'all. No, I want the head. There's no way that promise will mean anything, right? First one there wins. Cannon, if you've got any ideas for how we should kill you, just tell us, okay? The 7 sisters will kill you in an awesome way. Damn. He's like, shit. You've shamed me so deeply. Slicing you into 8 pieces won't be enough. I'll slice you into 100 pieces. Here we go, everyone. Oh my gosh. Yeah, unfightable. The 7 of them burst at once. They all used burst too. They had no intention of playing or boasting. This time, they would genuinely follow their master's order. Take Cannon down, swiftly. The 7 sisters jumped around the room faster than the eye could see, examining how they could best kill Cannon. They tortured him with cruel giggles, sometimes making a close pass at him. Why they all got the same pose? They're sisters. Yeah, there's no way Cannon wins this. But, you know, Shannon's shield would be pretty effective against this if she wanted to jump in. And then Genji has like a gun or something. Oh, that would be so cool. They kept scraping arms, shoulders, and cheeks, gradually carving red letters into his body. At that moment, Shannon dashed up behind him, holding onto him so that she blocked the way to his body at least a little. She is gonna shield him. At the same time, a red cylinder wrapped around the 2 of them like a beam of light sent from heaven. The cylinder repelled the evil ones who tormented Cannon. What? You're mean. This has nothing to do with you. Yeah, I mean, it's 7v1 now, though. I see. You must also want to play with us. Then I'll take it. I wonder if Shannon can expand the shield and crush them against the wall. Or like a wall of force style. Shield. If Marvel Comics has taught me anything, it's that force fields are the most overpowered superpower outside of maybe like omniscience or telepathy. Beatrice, can we take Shannon as our prey? I don't mind. Do as you like. It seems Cannon alone won't be enough to satisfy your gluttony. You have our deepest gratitude. Come, I'll make you regret coming out uninvited. I'll turn you into scraps of meat so unrecognizable you won't be able to tell which is which. Mix you and mince you into hamburgers. Idiot. We gotta break the barrier first, right? Don't let your gluttony get in the way of your job. As a horribly natural first action, the 7 sisters began to destroy the barrier Shannon had created. Shannon's barrier certainly was strong. It was powerful enough even to impress Beatrice. With its strength, frail furniture would turn to dust just by touching it. And it was firm, like a tree with deep roots. But no matter how big a tree gets, it will eventually surrender to a saw or a hatchet. Are these robots? Are they robots? Is this gonna go in that direction? For the 7 sisters, chopping down Shannon's barrier would be an annoying task, but not impossible. Is Genji gonna hop in? I need Genji to, like, spirit shotgun these stakes. They sound like beetles jumping about, grew even fiercer and filled the room. The red barrier began to cut up and eroded away, as though with a hatchet, a saw. No, a chainsaw by now. Oh shit. How foolish. Even though you must know that your barrier can't fully protect you from these girls. Why? Because I couldn't overlook it. As Shannon covered Cannon, who was already at his limits, sprawled out on the floor, she spoke back resolutely. If you hadn't barged in uninvited, I would have given you a death-like sleep. Why have you gone through all the trouble of exposing yourself before the seven sisters? Not all deaths are the same. A cruel death will cause you far more anguish than merely dying. Go ahead. Do as you like. Just as you always do what you want, I did what I wanted. At any rate, you're not quite amusing at the present moment. Romance is most interesting when you're wondering whether it will succeed or not. Once it does succeed, a woman is like salmon who has finished laying its eggs. I have already tired of you. Thank you. No words from a witch would make me happier. Oh, godlike answer. Then, at least in the end, let me see you die in a truly entertaining manner. Seven sisters, can you hear me? Kill Shannon in a way that shows me the limits of brutality. Whoa. Shannon. My apologies. In the end, I wasn't able to reach your level, Genji. You're an idiot, Nason. If you would just let me be, then you might not have met a horrible end. No, it's fine. I received a ring from George and lived as a woman. I have protected you and lived as a sister. With this, my life is complete, with no regrets. Oh man, you're pissing me off. That philosophical take really is irritating. LL take from Shannon? Like I said, you're furniture. You don't even smell like a human. Look at me. I am a human. Don't spout off philosophical crap like you're more complete than I am, you furniture. How ugly. Are those regrets what you truly are? They aren't regrets. This is called living. What's this about not minding if you die? Just because you were given a ring? I can't understand it. It's incomprehensible. Disappointing, outrageous, stunning. And it's all useless. Milady, perhaps you're acting a tad undignified? Shut up, furniture. Shannon, do you think I'll let you die so easily? Now it's time to bite your tongue. How pitiful. If you could see yourself reflected in my eyes, then shudder at your own ugliness. Fear not. Once I've crushed you up, you'll be much more ugly, even while you still live. At that time, Genji softly entered the red barrier. Perhaps that barrier didn't block those without ill intent. Then Genji gently held her from behind and covered her eyes with his right hand. Genji, you've already... Oh, wait, is he about to pop off? You've already done enough. Go to sleep before me. Yes. Thank you very much, Genji-sama. Indeed. Wait, the god? Is this... Because Genji was never scared of anything. He might be like S-tier power level. After that, Genji softly pressed his left hand near her collarbone. As he did, emanating from that area, a crimson stain gently spread out. Is he killing her? He's killing her. When Genji removed his hand, bright red fresh blood oozed out of there. It only happened for the first instant and was shaped like a crimson rose. Genji have the touch of death? And when he removed his right hand covering her face, there was a peaceful expression there, as though she was sleeping. Then she fell softly, silently, and slept. Oh, Genji's like way overpowered. Her soul had already been sent to a world where the malicious witch and her furniture could not reach her, no matter how evilly they tortured her. This scene left Beatrice and the seven sisters stunned. Only Renove wore a mysterious smile. Then Genji leaned over Kanon, who was crouching on the floor. You did well. You should sleep now, too. Yes. Thank you very much, Genji. Wait, this is ridiculous. Just as he had done with Shannon, he softly covered Kanon's eyes with his hands, then gently pressed the area around Kanon's collarbone with his other hand. And when his hand was removed with the lightness of a feather, there was a crimson rose there. He brings, like, peaceful death. Just, like, effortless, like, peaceful death. But as the rose shape quickly turned into the stain of a bright red blood pouring out. Huh? What is that? What a boring person. Yeah, how boring. Just using your touch of death every time. Not doing anything interesting. Even though it's fun to poke the balloon of life with needles so that it forcefully explodes. Spectacular, Genji. You truly are furniture. I don't even know what's happening anymore, y'all. Thank you very much. Well then, Beatrice, Renove, with this is my final task. Allow me to rest. Damn you, snatching away all my fun. Why don't I take all that thrashing and mashing I wanted to do to them, and give it to you instead? Beatrice faced him with an unsatisfied expression, but Renove spoke quietly to Genji with a soothing smile. You have worked hard. You are my greatest servant. So Renove trained Genji? That makes sense, right? As a final gift, I shall bestow upon you a peaceful sleep fitting for all the labors you have performed. Huh? Wait, it's not your place to... When Renove snapped his fingers, Genji slumped to the floor like a puppet with its strings cut. Suddenly, and yet gently, he crumpled, falling into a sleep that no witch could call him back from. He just snap one-shot him. It was filled with a kindness as the sleep he had given Shannon and Cannon. That's so sick. What was that, Renove? What a boring anticlimax. You are not a mighty great witch, milady? What happened here is hardly worthy of your concern. It isn't like you to let the provocation of someone like Shannon get to you. What was it that had Beatrice so irritated? Was she still unable to remove the thorn of Shannon's words? Renove laughed lightly, as though lamenting the complexity of humans and a woman's heart, and ordered the seven sisters to go. Hello, Scarlet Ghost. Naruhodo. The Umineko fighting game is super Kuso and probably filled with TODs because it's lore accurate. Yeah. It probably is full of TODs, though. Because it's Kuso. Genji just touches you, and... Genji level 3, he, like, touches your neck and the rose. Shannon did get the last laugh. That scene was sick. The seven sisters disappeared in ecstasy. And Renove is really powerful, huh? The implication is he trained Genji. Maybe Renove's in control of a lot of this, more than he lets on. I'm going to take a short break just to stretch my legs and refill my water. I'm going to run an ad while I do that, so there's no pre-rolls. So I will be back momentarily. Don't go anywhere. Bank. Okay, Goto was doing the nighttime round. Rokonjima had always been empty, except for the Ushirimiya family household. So checking that the doors and windows were all closed had no real purpose. However, ever since the time Natsuhi had condemned such an attitude as being careless, the nighttime rounds had become part of the servants' daily routine. In the first place, Natsuhi had ordered this because of the occasional witch disturbances. Everyone who came and left this island knew about the legend of Beatrice, the witch of the forest. It had become established as this island's characteristic ghost story. Because of that, it was only natural that some people would claim that, when they thought they were alone in the mansion, they would hear a strange sound or see the shadow of a person. Yeah, I think that could totally be the extra people, like the hidden people. However, when that created a little too much of a disturbance and reached Natsuhi's ears, he made a fuss, thinking that some suspicious person might have been entering and leaving. Apparently, she had roused all the servants and had them checked through the mansion. Excuse me. Because of all that panic over the witch had happened before Gota's arrival, he'd only heard about it from the more senior servant. Ghost stories like that could be found in any workplace. Even at hotels and restaurants Gota had worked at, there had always been plenty of them. But when he heard about this story on the island, he'd give a forced smile, thinking, so they have that kind of thing here after all. That forced smile aside, he had figured that, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, had taken it seriously. Gota went along with it on the outside, but in his heart, he'd assumed it to be a childish trick. At first, that is. This certainly is eerie. Yes, I can see why it was so easy for past servants to get into a panic. You can understand how someone doing the rounds on an eerie night like this might believe they'd seen a ghost if they saw a lace curtain waving in the breeze from a window that hadn't been closed. I imagine it's creepy. So if you make fun of the witch of the portrait, there's a curse. It seems there was even a servant who received a serious injury and quit. Well, I wouldn't want that. Think of my age. I probably wouldn't be granted a workplace that hospitable again. Witch of the portrait, I'm working sincerely, so please, give me some peace. Gota prayed to the portrait, his hands together, as though he was at a Shinto shrine. At that time, he thought he heard a sound. Kitchen? Was the sound of something metal falling to the floor. Maybe a mouse or a cockroach had come out and knocked over some of the dishes. No. How could that be? It was usually cleaned thoroughly. Thinking he'd check out what that noise really had been, Gota entered the kitchen. He turned on the kitchen light. When he did, he heard a strange sound. Clank, 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 clank. To a cook like Gota, the sound felt like a lid on a pressure cooker or something shaking. Surely there wouldn't be a pot on the burner when no one was in the kitchen. Even if someone was using the gas, walking away from it would be quite dangerous. Just in case, Gota decided to inspect the area around the gas range. Edge. What is this? When he did, in the corner with the gas range, the pressure cooker really had been set out, just as he'd thought. But the flame wasn't on. And yet the lid was clanking. Was something fermenting and leaking gas? How could that be? Then was there a mouse or something inside, maybe? How could there be? No, ridiculous. When people were watching, Gota acted as though he had a bold personality fitting for his build. But he actually was an unexpectedly timid side. He had an unexpectedly timid side to him. He was frightened that there might be something inside, and he couldn't bring himself to check it carelessly. Hey, Soma. In his cowardice, he grabbed a nearby wooden pestle. With a clunk, he tapped a little forcefully against the side of the pressure cooker. When he did, the clanking sound suddenly stopped. He should have been relieved that it had stopped, but the fact that it had stopped when he'd hit it was even more eerie, and made him even more suspicious about what was inside. Mysterious phenomena do not exist in this world. Yes. Witches and magic? Witches and magic, things like that couldn't possibly exist. All phenomena can be explained with science. As if monsters and witches could exist. He repeated that many times, trying to build up his own confidence. The gap between what he was saying and what he was doing was quite comical. Who would believe in a witch? Who would believe in magic or curses? Come on. Show me what you really are. Take that. He removed the lid of the pressure cooker, and lying exposed there was a sparkling clean silver bottom of the pot. There was absolutely nothing frightening like he'd imagined. Yeah, same. Me when I'm trying to press W. Phew. It's only natural. There's no way there could have been anything inside. By now, Goda realized that he had been a coward. So, while he still had some doubts as to what he had caused the lid to make that sound, he figured it wasn't a big problem and decided not to worry about it too much. He then took the lid he'd grabbed and softly set it back down to where it had been. It's fine. It won't make a sound. Of course it won't. As if witches and magic could exist. Clank. Clank, 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 clank. Clank, 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 clank. All of the pots and dishes in the kitchen started clanking at once. It grew even stronger, so that finally the lid to one of the pots fell off. And from the inside of that pot, a slender white arm reached out. Lids fell off the other pots one after another, and another, and another. As if witches could exist. As if I'd believe it. When a number of arms grew to 7, a loud shrill laughter split the air. Oh, them. What a letdown. Lid mentioned? Hog. Too bad someone who could make such delicious food is such a lightweight. If you don't want him, I'll take him. He's all mine. Wait, I said no. I'll take him. What is the story behind these sisters? Donka 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 donka. Edge. Come on, let's search. There's only one more. That old hag. Where is she? She isn't in the mansion. What about the guest house? Hehehe, first one wins. First one wins, right? Come on, search, search, find her. Don't be noticed by the relatives in the dining hall, right? And don't get noticed by the kids in the guest house either. Bedge? Night, Shira. Have a good bedge. Search in silence, kill in silence. After all, it's still just the first twilight. She isn't in the guest house, but she wasn't in the mansion either, right? Where's Kumasawa? Hey, I found her. She's in the rose garden. Why is she standing around there without an umbrella? Oh my god, hi. She's already given up. All mine, all mine. Oh wait, is she the most OD? Is she about to 1v9? Come on, if we take any longer, we'll be scolded by Beatrice. Let's take care of this all at once. There, found her, surrounded her. Come on, let's get along and do it all at once, okay? Die. Die. Ganon function. Oh, he is. He's freaking dead. Oh my god. Mackerel, y'all. What's this? Greatest anime moment? What naughty girls? You wouldn't happen to be friends of that child, would you? Just what is this? This old hag? This gotta be some mistake. One more time. She's like really good with barriers, I guess. Dude, the effect of like... The effect of when she drops the barrier, there's no rain on the scene because she's dry. And then when the barrier drops, the rain comes back. That's peak. Why can she defend against us? Move aside. One more time. No matter how often you try, it won't work. This person is good. I am waiting for that child. Would you mind calling for her? That child. Could that child be Beatrice? Could that child be Maria? Is she Grey Beatrice? Do you really expect us to run errands for you like that? There's no need. Beatrice. Wait, is she Grey Beatrice? After all, even I have manifested by now. I was certain that you had awakened. Renove. Oh my god, hi. It's been a long time. Truly a long time. This person's talking to Renove without using Sama? And it's been a long time since I've seen you too. Beatrice? Enough. Don't you know who this is? The name Beatrice... What? She is Grey Beatrice. So she's the one from the flashback. The name Beatrice itself is hers. I only inherited it from her. This is my teacher, the previous Lady Beatrice. Oh my gosh. Gold butterflies appeared in ones and twos from the Garden of Roses and began to gather around Kumasawa. Then, after she was wrapped in a golden sparkle, she burst and disappeared, and Kumasawa's form was no longer there. Instead, there was another golden witch, the one who once taught the path of the endless witch to Beatrice, and the only person Beatrice ever called teacher. Her hair was long, beautiful, and vividly youthful, and her figure in that elegant dress couldn't possibly have been mistaken for an old lady. No, this looked like a completely different person from Kumasawa. Dude, what does... This changes everything! Well, teacher. I never even dreamed that we would meet each other again. Yes, neither did I. Oh, what does it change? Well, it just means all my theories are wrong. Essentially. But, like... I guess the thing it largely changes the most is timeline. In I guess, in time frame. Oh, there's a lot of theories I've had. I don't even know if I could go over all of them. Does it make your theories wrong? Not necessarily, but it does recontextualize the time frame. So thinking back to the beginning of this episode, she could totally have been talking to I guess she was talking to this Beatrice, and I still assume this Beatrice is the daughter of Kinzo, but can't be with Grey Beatrice now, right? I guess it still could be. But it seems a lot less likely. Unless Kumasawa is Kinzo's wife. Which it could be. It could be that Kumasawa was Kinzo's wife. I don't know. I'm just going to click through because there's a lot going on in my head right now. I was kind of right saying that little girl was a Beatrice. That's not necessarily confirmed either. She could have totally been talking to Ava. She could have totally been talking to Maria, Rosa. There's a lot of people she could have been talking to. She also... Yeah, because then there's also the Beatrice that died off the cliff. Is that the same one that this one was talking to? Is that the same one that this one taught? I certainly never dreamed that my sleep would be disturbed. Such a troublesome time for you to awaken. Oh, so that also implies that she didn't choose to hide as Kumasawa. If you'd remained asleep as usual, the first twilight could have ended without much trouble. Or perhaps I should be glad you're here. I was just getting a tad bored. As usual, it seems that you're toying with sinless people in a vulgar game. I believe I taught you several times that the power of the Endless Witch mustn't be used to cause people trouble. Don't say that, teacher. Isn't boredom our natural enemy? This is just a little spice to escape from that. One thing this does imply... Is she over here? No. Don't get distracted by her magic is fake. You can react to it. So true. But thinking about... I'm still probably on the train that this is all some kind of chicanery. But if Kumasawa could be Grey Beatrice, what's to stop Yellow Beatrice from just being Rosa? right? We talked about this Beatrice falling off the cliff. So, like, actually, that might make a lot of sense, right? If this Beatrice existed, either as a clone, as a illegitimate, like, bastard child to Kinzo, right? If this Beatrice existed, died on the cliff, Rosa went and confessed that this Beatrice died to, let's say, Kumasawa. Let's say she went and confessed to Kumasawa, or to, at the time, Grey Beatrice, and said, oh my god, I killed Dad's prisoner wife. You know, like, what do I do? And then Kumasawa's like, well, you could take her shape, and shows her how to do that. And so the idea that these two are actually perhaps the same consciousness, perhaps the same being, right? Because Maria talks a lot about how Rosa gets possessed by the witch, right? Like when she has her like anger fits and stuff. That could be some kind of foreshadowing to say, like, maybe Beatrice that we know, the supernatural Beatrice, is Rosa. Which would be a little weird for the end of episode 2, when Beatrice was torturing Rosa. But that could also be kind of explained away in that that's the internal, you know, she's of two minds, right? Like she sometimes thinks she's Beatrice, she sometimes thinks she's Rosa. She's, you know, that traumatic event from her childhood of watching this Beatrice fall to her death really messed her up mentally, maybe. And then, yeah, we could keep going on, like, worse and worse, like, implications to that. Where, like, if, you know, Kinzo didn't know that his prisoner wife was actually dead, and it was Rosa instead, and he somehow impregnated Rosa during that time, or during some time there. Maria, that could explain why Maria is, like, not quite fully, you know, developed. Like, Maria's definitely, there's something definitely, like, wrong with Maria. And, you know, that could perhaps explain some of that. It could explain why she says she's a witch. You know, again, I'm not saying I have a concrete line of story that goes directly to that, but these are the kind of dots that I'm thinking might connect at some point during all this. The more the corrosion advances, the stronger my power becomes, and the easier it becomes to summon my minions. But who would have thought it would release the seal on you, teacher, at the same time? It's precisely because I predicted... Oh, she's one of these. I slept so very close to where you were. Though I prayed in my sleep that I would not be woken again. Being reunited with you like this is a very sad thing for me. You're as cunning as always, teacher. That or maybe Kurosawa put Orin and Beatrice back together. Ah! That would make sense too, right? Because she did do that with the vase. Renov, have that young furniture step back. Furniture only serves its master. The master is responsible for all of her crimes. Certainly, Madame Beatrice. Oh, I've already passed that name on to this child. Come now, step back. Furniture girls. I may give warnings a second time if you do not listen to the first. However, do not expect to receive a third. Wait, she's so sick. I can see why the fighting game would be a spoiler, by the way. Like, step back, Seven Sisters of Purgatory. If you get dragged into this, only dust will remain. Renov and the Seven Sisters of Purgatory retreated. After that, what remained was Beatrice, whose daring expression didn't falter, and the teacher Beatrice, who had given her that name and wore a composed smile. Well then, teacher, what tea shall I prepare for our long-awaited reunion? Let's see. This reunion was longer in coming than the visit of a comet. Perhaps I will accept your... This reunion was longer in coming than the visit of a comet, so it's been quite a few years. Perhaps I will accept your hospitality. And if it seems a mistake has been made, I'll have you return my name and the title of Endless Witch. So even the title of Endless Witch has a license renewal policy. As you wish, teacher. See how splendid your disciple has become, and see how far she surpassed you so long ago. The air between the two Beatrices seemed to explode with sparks. Just by glaring at each other, they purged all spirits from that space. By the way, I already have an idea for my tier list for this episode. Every tier is just going to be titled Beatrice. And I'm just going to put the characters in the order I like them. As they watched, the seven sisters shivered. After all, if they had retreated just 3 steps less than they had, they would have already been turned to dust by now. That's a good bit? I think so, yeah. So come, Beatrice. It's probably fucked up that I'm like so right in that like 5 of these people are Beatrice. Surrendering my name to you is the only regret I have in life. I will now correct that error by my own hands? They about to fight? You've got it wrong, teacher. That one SpongeBob Squidward bit. Gotta spell it a little different or with different caps? Maybe, yeah. Squidward mentioned in chat. I was, that you know that, I think it's called Glorp is the artist. He does, like, AI SpongeBob raps. The Squidward line where he's like, I'm a stone-faced killer like my motherfucking house is. You know what I'm talking about? That was stuck in my head all day today. Because somebody, like, linked it in the Discord. And like I was like at work humming that to myself all day. That's the one from the Northern Lion clip. Oh yeah, okay, so you've seen it. I actually didn't see it through Northern Lion. I saw it through, I think, original posting, which is rare for me. My only error was becoming your disciple in hopes of gaining such a puny level of power. Get it? Yeah, I've seen that vid? Hell yeah. What are you calling magic? What are you calling the Endless Witch? All you've got is a power that can be gained just by noticing. Hold on. This is important. Rendering your name to use the only regret. I will now correct that error. You've got it wrong, teacher. My only error was becoming your disciple in hopes of gaining such a puny level of power. What are you calling magic? What are you calling the Endless Witch? All you've got is a power that can be gained just by noticing. Power that can be gained just by noticing. And you act as though it's so great and impressive? Your turn's long over, teacher. She's going off. Oh my days. What? What? Barrier technique? What is happening? Hold on. I just want to... Right, we saw her. We've seen what she looks like. Wait, banger alert? I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. Same? What in the world is happening right in front of my eyes? You poor thing. It seems my disciple is causing you trouble. I apologize. I've only seen part of the first stream, so I'm totally lost. Yeah, I mean, me too. Who the heck are you? Why did old Kumasawa turn into Nechan like this? I mean, seriously, who are you? I don't get it. What kind of special effects are these? You're so cooked. Yeah, this is the 14th stream. This is the 14th or 15th stream of this game, some of which were up to like 8 hours long. We're what, like 100 hours into this by now, probably? You know, so you can join in again on episode 7 if you want a similar level of context. My head feels like it's gonna explode. I am the witch teacher of that child. My old name was Beatrice. When that child succeeded me, I gave up that name, so I have no name of my own. Oh, is that why there aren't 18 humans on this island? Like you've already said, your disciple's been a real pain to me. Please take responsibility and do something. No, wait. I don't believe in stuff like this. As if witches and magic could exist. I won't accept this messed up battle. What should I believe? I have a hunch that the tea is actually causing a lot of this. And maybe like the family reunion as everyone gets together and just drinks like ayahuasca tea or something. and gets all like fucked in the head and starts hallucinating. Oh, that's just like you. Hospitality was a very quick temper. I was in the pressure cooker and then smoked with hickory. I'm jerky, dried out, laying, unbothered, crispy. I expect nothing less from you, teacher. It seems so trivial to you. You don't even feel like opening your eyes. But I doubt you'll be able to win unless you're prepared to wreck this whole island. Come, arise. Shoulder War Towers. What? Oh, hell nah. Beatrice raised the towers. In response to Beatrice's summons, a terrific earth tremor split the rose garden, and on either side of her shoulders, 2 massive war towers sprouted and stabbed into the heavens. They stretched up 100 Marudi? Units of measurement. References in When They Cry. The first thing I Google when I Google Marude, and then a Reddit post, ¿Cuántos metros son 100 Marude? Perhaps meters or yards? They don't even know? Question references in When They Cry. I don't know, man. Gotta be meters? It's a pretty sure it's a, oh fuck, wide text. Oh, shit. Stretched up 100 Marudi, and each had over 360 ports. They were war towers of the God's Army Corps, which had prevented even groups of ancient heroes from invading the sacred grounds. As Beatrice elegantly floated in the gap between the massive 2-headed towers, she looked down on her teacher, sneering with a sense of absolute superiority. With the 2 massive towers lined up behind her shoulders, the witch looked very small, like a butterfly dancing between huge trees. This song goes so hard. Don't think you can dodge it by turning into butterflies, okay? The density of the twin... Well, someone finally said it. The density of the Twin Towers barrage wouldn't just make you a pinned bug sample. It'd make you a madly stabbed pincushion, right? Over 720 ports opened on the towers, and godly soldiers raided their multi-shot ballistas. Readied. Is that the end of your turn? Famous last words. Blast away. Oh, sorry to anybody with light sensitivity. The ballista shots that numbered over 1,000 were all fired at once, drawing a beautiful geometric curtain of death, the golden ratio of death. The boorish sound as the bowstrings were played was probably even deeper than that of a reaper swinging its sickle. Very pretty language. Come, arise. Fallen tower. Split the single language and let that sin be known. The sky was stained in an incandescent red, and from between the clouds, a blazing massive tower fell upside down. That massive falling tower and its rubble sucked in the thousands of ballista shots so that none of them approached the body of the witch who had summoned it. That's right, no group of people, no matter how large, could approach the mysteries of heaven. That was the reality of the fallen tower? What's happening? As I'd expect from you, teacher. If you do something, you always do it big. My turn is not over. I still have mana. Arise, sons of Ivaldi. Bestow upon me a worthy spear. Oh. Freaking Tsubaki or with Izayoi astral finish. And the massive crimson tower that had fallen made a terrible gold-colored explosion. A massive spear appeared from inside those flames. So tall, like a tower, you had to look up to see all of it. It was too large even for a giant's hand. The divinely beautiful spear of the gods was so massive, it gave the illusion that the fallen tower had turned into a spear of the same size. It was a spear of certain victory that none could escape. My turn's not over, I'm still +2. Exactly. Looks like your twin towers won't help you now. How foolish to block off your means of escape on both sides. You can't defend against even a single spear. She snapped her fingers in command. A massive tower-side spear shot at Beatrice like a lightning bolt. It aimed right for the middle of the center of the Golden Witch's heart with extreme precision, as she danced in the gap between the towers like a butterfly, slicing straight through the air like a flash of lightning. Ha! So you use Gungnir. Shoutouts to Dogura. Gungnir, the Holy Spear, aka Alex Standing Roundhouse in Street Fighter V. Gebug. You really are incredible, teacher. Shoutouts to Grimnir. Hell yeah. First, useless towers, arise. Giant soldier battle line. Fully block the Divine Spear with your shields and chests. The shoulder war towers exploded into gold. They became several billion golden butterflies. Those butterflies took the shape of 7 massive armored soldiers. Each stretched a full 50 merute into the sky. And they lined up in front of Beatrice, protecting their master and holding massive shields that towered like windmills. This is so sick. They were as massive as a mountain range. The witch behind them was like a small moon hiding behind the mountains. Once in the past, when the massive shields these giants had held had been readied by the whole regiment. They had protected King Wilhelm's castle, not only from arrows, but from the wind and the rain. For when they had faced upwards, they held their shields to the heavens. Not a single raindrop had gotten through. Foolish. The shame of a witch who has forgotten to respect things sacred. Did you think mere giants could defend against a spear of the gods? Indeed. No matter how much human metal you are armed with, you cannot block a spear of the gods. A wonderful epaulet mate. Epaulet. You're calling this a chess move, bro? Epaulet. 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 Epaulet mate. What's an epaulet mate? An epaulet mate resembles the visual appearance of an ornamental shoulder piece, sometimes worn by elite military. Oh, wait. Epaulet. I can't... Oh, this is It's the, what's it called? The suffocated mate? Where, like, if you have, like, a knight checking the king, but the king can't move, and they can't take the knight. I didn't know that was the name for that. No way! Beatrice! Of course I haven't forgotten, teacher. Come, arise. Disciples of Hephaestus, bestow upon me a worthy shield. My eyes! The SpongeBob fish. Ah, my eyes! Can't believe Ryukishi took a picture of his twin towers and his massive falling flaming tower in Gungnir and his 0.0 square foot apartment and an epoxy steel spear. A golden whirlwind arose at the feet of the giant soldiers. It was a cloud of countless butterflies. They attached themselves to the massive shields like gold leaves, sparkling as they were in a gold mirror. It was the absolute defensive wall given to a goddess by the chief of the gods, the Aegis Reflector. When the Holy Spear, which left a dignified tail behind it like a comet, crashed into the mountain range of that gold shield, there was a terrible thunderous roar. It was the creaking of the pillars that held up the heavens. Jesus! The Divine Spear spun around and around and was sent flying in the direction of the setting sun. Impossible! She defended against the Divine Spear. No, that's not correct. The Divine Spear avoided her. Okay, it's the law of the gods that an absolute spear and an absolute shield must never fight one another. Although, in the end, it means the same thing as defending against it. This chapter irreversibly changed the 5th grader who read Umineko is out there on the playground and, like, one kid's like, I'm gonna hit you with a Kamehameha. And the other kid is like, arise, shield of Hephaestus, gift of the chief of the gods. And they're all like, we gotta leave this kid alone. He's a little freaky. It's the first time Giant Towers and the Spear of Gungnir has shown up. So yeah, you know, it's, yeah. So here's an interesting take. I know this is like an action-packed moment, but let me take an aside here. Here's an interesting take. Are we losing to Beatrice right now because we're getting so hyped for this? Right? Like, are we supposed to be sitting here as doubters? Are we supposed to be like, magic isn't real, this is all smoke and mirrors? Instead of getting so hype at all this stuff, and in getting hype for this, we're empowering her and like giving her more credibility. And we, in this case, you know, is really referring to like Battler, I guess, but also us. Anyways, let's see what happens next. How do you counter this? Your skills have improved from engaging in these fights so often. Or rather, it seems you're still as bad as ever at this type of game, teacher. Nah, Beatrice Gray is there. How can you not be hyped? You're so right. It's my turn to strike back. I shall follow the code and counter a spear with a spear. What spear would she now use? Gabolg? Maybe, what's another legendary spear? The spear of, like, Shoyun? Well, we are trying to figure out how this is possible through human means instead of magic means. Beatrice. Right. So, like, Thunderbolt? Big Mom? The giant spear battle line, which had fully blocked the divine spear, released its holy gold shield. Mitsuru 5A is my... Yeah, what's it called? How about my Natsume Jump D? The shields fell to the earth, making the ground shake. When they did, another gold whirlwind arose, and the 7 gold shields changed their form into 7 massive spears of lightning lying on the ground. At once, each of the giants lifted one of their legs high and firmly stomped on the tips of the handles. As the earth shook with a thunderous sound, the 7 lightning spears spun beautifully and flew up above the giant soldiers' heads. They scattered into a golden splash and began to fall before the giants. Each of the giants squared off, and with the force of their whole body, they kicked and smashed them. What are the kids doing right now? The broken pieces numbered exactly 30 and became lightning spears of exactly the same size as the originals, which made 210 for the 7 giants, and all of those burst at once, with each splitting into 30 thorns, a total of 6,300. They became a barrage of thunderclouds, drawing a beautiful geometric pattern, and they each changed into 3 bolts of lightning, so that 18,900 thunderbolts shot at predecessor Beatrice. Yeah, the kids are playing, like, Go Fish or whatever they were playing. Each lightning bolt turned into 3 more lightning bolts, which turned into 6 thunderbolts. It's over. Beatrice! Now you can beat this. You just have to summon 1 Dugtrio. I would expect nothing less from Madam. The bundle of almost 20,000 thunderbolts must have reduced the teacher's body to dust. But there had been no resistance. Beatrice knew immediately that she had been fooled. At that time, from the direction the sun had supposedly set, she felt impossible rays of sunlight. A brilliant ray of light shone on her profile. It was the figure of her teacher, holding aloft the spear of the gods, which had supposedly been repelled a short while ago. Oh, it's screen-wrapped? She bore a sparkle like the sun on her back and made it shine like the incarnation of darkness. As Beatrice watched, she was trapped like a mouse in a cage, cornered in a dead end formed by the giant soldier battle line. By now, the predecessor Beatrice had seized a position directly alongside that line. Playtime is over, Beatrice. Have I exposed my flank? Oh, how embarrassing. Her bold expression hadn't faltered even once, but now it twisted for the first time. And faster than Beatrice could click her tongue, the predecessor Beatrice released the holy spear. As it leapt through the air, it changed its form once more. What will it turn into now? Arise! Da Vinci? The Verger brothers? Bestow upon me the giant smashing iron hammer of heaven. Giant soldiers, protect me. What are you doing, you blockheads? By now it was no longer a spear, but a whirlwind of a massive hammer that raised a sound like a windstorm and flew through the air. The legend of the hammer that had shaken even the king of the frost giants. So the giant soldiers couldn't escape from that fear. So regardless of how strong their master ordered them, they couldn't get in the path of the hammer. Duergar, dwarves. Oh, the Duergar. That would be pronounced Duergar. Right? Me just spitting out consonants. Black rank mate. Rest in peace. Oh, that's an... this is so peak. They're all mimicking actual chess tactics. Not that it's like super high level, like, oh, you really got to be into chess to know this stuff. But like, you know, it's the equivalent of like mating with a bishop along the, you know, or mating with a rook. Getting stuck when you castle and like don't push out the pawns, which is how all these soldiers are laid out right now. And you send a rook to the back line. That's a back rank mate. And that's like the position they're in. This is... Wait, are they actually just playing a chess game? Are they actually just playing a chess game, chat? If you want to revisit this song, it's called Fake Red Shoes. Wait, that's so good. Before the whirlwind of that massive chunk of metal. Are they drinking psychedelic ass tea and just playing chess? Is that Umineko? Like, is that the whole of Umineko? Is they just get freaking zooted off of, like, mushroom tea and then play chess and see all this fantastical stuff? Because that sounds like a good time. It might also just be really normal black tea, but good quality. Also, you know what? That also sounds like a really good time. Maybe there was something wrong with the roses? Well, there was 2 gigantic towers under them. The instant that the whirlwind started to suck Beatrice in, she appeared to change into a massive war tower. Is she going to block it? Oh, she's going to sacrifice her own rook. The iron hammer smashed the war tower, scattering tremendous amounts of rubble, but it didn't reach she who escaped behind it. Furthermore, when the smoke started to settle, the war tower had sucked in a massive iron hammer without crumbling and blocked the way. Even the giant smashing iron hammer couldn't break through the final tower protecting the witch. However, this war tower was actually the witch's last trump card. It was a war tower for dodging that could only save her from danger once. Now we're actually on the 5th grade recess power scaling canon. Yeah, this is my war tower for dodging. It can only save me once, though. She bursted? Bog? But this war tower was impregnable. No weapon could break through it. At that time, the moon disappeared, and Beatrice hid in the shadows of the giant soldier battle line in the war tower. As she did, she looked up at the sky. When she did, inside the moon was a figure of a massive horse ridden by the god of war and death. The predecessors, Beatrice rode the horse with him. Oh, she's attacking with her knights now. His cloak had blocked the moon and swallowed it in an eerie shadow. So if Virgilia wins this... Virgilia? That's an awesome name. Virgil? The murders stop? Potentially, right? The cloak had blocked the moon and swallowed it in an eerie shadow, and the spear of the gods was in the hand once more. In other words, this was a godly knight who had jumped over the ramparts formed by the giant soldiers in the war tower, attacking from the heavens. This is just a chess game. Smothered mate. You got me. Smothered mate. It was fun, Beatrice. The struggle and the death between the 2 witches of the same name was over. This is so peak. I mean, there's no way to stop it. So, actually kind of based. So it was kind of like... Great Beatrice went for a back rank mate. Beatrice had to sacrifice her rook to protect herself from it, but in doing so, she left her queen, or her king, excuse me, she left her king stuck in a smothered mate, which is a pretty typical endgame situation a lot of time. Yeah, so like, hold on, can I do like chess simulator? Can I just move pieces around? Set up position. So how do I delete pieces? Check this. Let me just nudge a little bit. So typically in a situation where you castle, right, it's kind of like this. It would be a little weirder here, though. But, like, I can't set up the exact position because I'm not terribly good at chess, right? But, like, it's kind of like... How would this look? Probably like this. Probably something like this, where... and I can't quite recreate it, but essentially the idea is like he goes here for the back rank mate, because right, the king can't escape. The whoopsies. So Beatrice sends her rook in. And then, like, once this is set up, it would be over here, sorry. Once this is set up, this is checkmate. Right? Because this king can't move, and you can't... Well, this would be gone. And you can't take this knight. I set it up kind of poorly, but that's the idea behind the smothered mate. And, like, the way that, like, the pieces kind of look like chess pieces, the things they were using. And, I don't know, it's just really, 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 really well done. Like... Super fun way to illustrate that battle, which might in actuality have just been a game of chess. The giant soldier battle line and the war tower split up into countless golden butterflies, wrapping the area into a golden-colored storm. Then came the sound of thunder, and the sound of falling rain and wind. If you looked around, the rose garden was empty. The butler and the rest were watching the two witches confronting each other, but Beatrice alone had changed into Rosa. She had been pierced straight through by the spear, from the base of her neck and her right shoulder to her left buttocks, unable to even reach the ground with her feet. Horribly exposed like a pitiful pinned butterfly, tormented by the wind and the rain. Beatrice! As expected, a truly fearsome person. That settles it, Beatrice. Ouch. Oh. Beatrice wore a bitter smile of false courage, but a strand of blood dangled from her mouth, making her look even more pitiful. The title and power of the Endless Witch. You will return them to me now, along with the name Beatrice. You are too immature to call yourself an Endless Witch. Stop. Forgive me, teacher. I was just fooling around, okay? I will take my name back from you. I shall return you to your original form. Perhaps you should relinquish this power which is beyond you, and live a life suitable for yourself. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? The predecessor Beatrice began to recite the words of power. When she did, small golden butterflies gathered near the skewered Beatrice and began to swarm about her. I wonder... Because they had all that stuff about young Ava at the beginning. Could this Beatrice have come from young Ava? Like butterflies sucking the nectar out of flowers, they began to suck the magical power out of Beatrice, and it seemed to cause her intense pain. A cry of anguish issued from Beatrice's mouth. She no longer had any power to resist it. Come, try closing your eyes. Try to remember. What form did you have? Come, Beatrice. Repeat with me. Let's sing a song together. Then it will be over soon. Let's sing a song together? Is it Maria? Let us end your pain as fast as possible. It's Maria. You're right. How long has it been since I've sung with you, teacher? Come, together now. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? Come, remember. What form did you have? The two of them began to recite the same song. More and more, the gold butterflies danced around, swarming around Beatrice. It will be all right, milady. You will lose your place as my disciple, but that will not change the fact that you are the lady I serve. After that, I shall read a book for you again. It's I shall bake you apple pies once more, just like it was long ago. Try to remember. Hey, teacher. Did you remember that thing behind you? Scummy! When the predecessor Beatrice looked behind her, there was an eerie hedgehog curled up there. Hedgehog? Shadow? No, it was herself. There was another... Wait! She... Did she choke her out? Is this the what is it, Kengan Ashura? Where like the grappler, like the one guy thought he killed the grappler god, like thought he had beaten the grappler god, but it turns out he got choked out and it was all a hallucination. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? Or maybe that's not right. Wait, she's so godlike. The predecessor Beatrice was stunned. Her form gradually began to fade away. How did she lose? When did you... At the beginning, I did not summon a pair of shoulder towers. There were 4 towers. Teacher, you carelessly stepped across the 7th rank rook boundary of death created by the 2 hidden towers, which were lurking in the distance on either side of you. Yeah, well, if you have 4 rooks, it's pretty easy to win in chess. It was bad manners of me to say check this late. I simply must apologize. Scummy. The battle had been decided at the very beginning. It had been over since the time the predecessor had leaned forward, readying her holy spear to attack Beatrice, who had been wedged between her shoulder towers. The hidden towers lurking on either side bathed her in a windstorm of ballista shots from 720 ports on both sides, pinning and killing her. However, Beatrice hadn't wanted it to be resolved like that. She had wanted to let her teacher take her next move, and had continued acting as though the game was still on. He immediately revived her with the endless power, and had made her continue the game as though nothing had happened. Wow, she is really strong. Then the predecessor slowly remembered that she had already been killed, and began to vanish completely. When she did, the spear that had pierced Beatrice also vanished. Beatrice finally landed on the ground. There wasn't even a trace of a scar. It was fun, teacher. How can you even get 4 rooks in chess? If you advance 2 pawns across the board, you can promote them into rooks. Can't start with them, though. It was fun, teacher. If you want to play again, I'll revive you anytime. And once we've had some fun, I'll make you remember that you're a corpse again. See? I did everything you told me to, right? Didn't you tell me to always put my toys back in their boxes when I'm done playing with them? Pawn backdoor specialist? Was it an easy victory? You fool. It was a tough one. If I hadn't tricked her with the 4 towers, I would have been the one dead. As expected from teacher. But now I can stand proud. So, fighting game lesson number 1. If you're not better than your opponent, you better be ready to trick them. Now I have completely surpassed teacher. Renove, clean up teacher's remains a bit. I haven't lost my respect for her that much. Certainly. Tonight's first twilight became a little too riotous. A little cleanup will be necessary. I shall see to it immediately. Goats, it's time to clean up. Me to my squad when we pull up at the venue. Trick opponent. When Renove snapped his fingers, on my way, yeah. We're gonna clean up. Blazing, sparkling eyes began to blink open in the shadows and darkness, becoming goat-headed attendants that appeared one after the other. One by one, they wordlessly stood in attention in a line behind Renove's back. This time, what shall be done about the 6 corpses? Another closed room pattern? I'm in no mood to think now. I will leave it to you, Renove. An extraordinary closed room to torment Battler, if you would. Hell yeah. Certainly. This shall be extraordinary. Okay, where's Battler? Battler, did you see my big moment? Oh my god, poor Battler. After being showed that screwed up magical storm, what can I deny? Forget just witches existing. After being showed that tremendous, flashy fantasy, what can I deny now? I don't get it anymore. Yeah, like, what are we even doing here? It was like that last time too, but how can I deny these awesome, wonderful, magical battles? After watching this, you can't talk your way out of it, right? Okay, Battler, let me hear some ridiculous reasoning. Milady, your laugh is becoming undignified. Yeah, she's like snorting and stuff. Battler, quick, tell her to close Adobe After Effects. Yeah. Turn off filter. But this isn't my fault. After all, if Battler tightly closes his eyes, grinds his teeth, and shows me that ever so bitter expression, it just automatically slips out of my mouth, you see. So, Battler, why don't you return to the table without losing heart? Milady is expecting your counterattack. Come on, quit messing with me. How the hell can I make a counter-argument? In the first place, everything was already screwed up when that tower sprouted up out of the earth. Should I say that under the ground in Rokkenjima, there's a secret laboratory for building super alloy combining robots or something? Galvanized steel robots? And then pushing a button can make these strange towers sprout up? Right, and then those huge giants must be robots. Or maybe an evil secret association's mecha monsters. I don't get it. Don't talk to me now. Hey. Don't cry, okay? Bang bang, it's magic. Have you all seen that video? The like Magic Castle performer where he's like, it's like comedy magic and he's just like, it's magic, fuck you. And that's like the whole bit. We'll play that at the end. That's the Beatrice fight. If you've seen it, it's quite funny. If you want, I'll crush the moon and make comets fall like rain. I can even bury the whole island in those massive-breasted Neichans you like so much. See? Come on then. Look, my turn's over. See? Show me your response. Launch your counterattack. It's like the opponent comboed off with Nadu and made like 15 lands and 65 like sproutlings or sapperlings, and they're like, okay, your turn. And you're like, it's turn 4, dude. I don't know what I can do. Except that there's a quadrillion things you can't do. You're useless against that, right? You actually like this kind of fantasy, don't you? I get it. That's been going around in the streets lately, hasn't it? In manga and light novels, in anime and movies. Some teenage brat gets a whole bunch of strange special abilities and they blow up all sorts of stuff with the fate of the world on the line. You love that too, don't you? You eat that up. I know. Don't hide it. You love it, right? Hasn't that thing you love been displayed before your very eyes? Why do you believe in manga and anime, but you won't believe in me? Believe. You can't argue back. Not after you've been shown something like that, right? Look, answer. You don't need to think. You can just obediently say, I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama. Look, try saying it. Gomennasai, Beatrice-sama. Don't be embarrassed. This is awesome. So I don't think I have time for a whole nother chapter. So I think I'm gonna have to stop here. But that was really cool. Did it just do a to be continued? Yeah, that's when like the chapters break. We're going to watch this, and then I'm going to end stream. Just because it's kind of late. Not going to learn how Battler will explain everything. Not tonight. I got to make sure I get good sleep and stuff. What was that noise? Oh, that was the intro to this video. Rabid Entertainment. That was the dog in me. Yeah. Oh, language warning. This is this is Battler's explanation of the witch battle. I'm fooling you, you don't like it. Dude, this dude is... Any knife will do. So good. Wonderful. Okay. Whew. Why am I always gone here? It's totally different voice when he... Yeah, it's like... the whole thing's just a bit. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. And so a lot of times when I'll just, you know, respond to something, I'll be like, it's magic. I'm definitely, like, thinking about that video. And so that's basically the plot of Umineko, right? Like, I'm fooling you and you don't like it. Okay, so we're chilling. Good night. Got through one chapter. It was a really good chapter. The witch battle was really, really cool. I don't know what it means at all now. I'm totally lost. We probably have a good about half of this episode to go, right? Like, I think we're about 10 hours into it, maybe a little less even. Usually about 20 hours. Rysair just psyoped us by getting his reference. I guess that's one way you could say shared a joke. Yeah. I suppose I did. Is magic. Okay, so we're gonna raid out locals tomorrow for Grand Archive, so no stream tomorrow. Probably be back on Wednesday, and I may or may not do Thursday. I may enter a Grand Archive thing on Thursday, but definitely Wednesday we'll do more Umineko, so if you're watching along, look out for that. And then next week, I got a friend in town, so I don't know if I'll be able to stream next week and this weekend, but maybe I will. So yeah, keep an eye on the Twitter. You already know. Keep an eye on the Discord. Be good to one another. Yada yada yada. Am I enjoying the current meta? Yeah, I like the current meta. It's Luxum's not playable right now, which is unfortunate, but There's a lot of decks that I enjoy, and I think the meta's fairly balanced. I think Merlin's a little too good, but I think Merlin's always a little too good. So, you know, there's that. Thanks for the stream as always. Yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. It's always enjoyable to hang with y'all and play Umineko, which is all this stream is now. It's just going to be Umineko for the rest of the time. I'll just start it over again once I finish. Okay, we'll raid out to someone. Actually, you know what? Is TNS Strive still going on? I always watch TNS Strive. I'm probably going to raid out to TNS Strive. They're in top 8 losers? Hell yeah. I'm going to send it out to TNS. Let's watch some Strive. And, yeah. That had everyone for me. The replay does go pretty hard. I bet it does. Or maybe I'll spread the love and I'll watch someone else play through it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to TNS. Y'all be good to one another. See you all next time. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, there's me. Ah, wow. Breaking your immersion. Ah, woo.